Good afternoon. I'd like for everyone to pause what you're doing and let's pay our respects and send our condolences and prayers to Officer Deputy Fernando Esqueda, Harris County Deputy Sheriff that was murdered last night. Pray for his family. He was ambushed and he was protecting us when he gave his life, so I would ask to pause. Amen. This afternoon we're getting to present a law enforcement tool of collaboration to protect the public. In January, if you'll recall, recognizing the shortage of HPD officers, actually Acting Chief Citywide headed up our effort in January. Had 30+ local agencies come together at Crime Stoppers to discuss how we were going to collaborate and work together. It's been successful. Now, with Beryl coming through here and Harris County being so affected, the agencies we've been working with have their own challenges. So, working with the chief, his team, and equally important, the state of Texas, collaboration at all levels of government work. And we're rolling out a valuable tool this afternoon where we've taken our local collaboration model statewide, working with Acting Governor Dan Patrick, Nim Kidd, our Director of Emergency Center for the state of Texas, in discussions about how we could share resources. The team and Lieutenant Governor's office and our emergency center said, well, we share resources in public works during storms. We share EMS, fire protection. Why wouldn't your model work statewide? So I'm pleased to let everyone know, on their way to Houston right now are over 100 officers from our major cities and around the state of Texas. They will be here to work with HPD in our communities that are dark from lack of electricity. They will be working with the DPS. They're going to be working with HPD. HPD will be accompanying these officers. We're concerned about our traffic enforcement. We have 1,400 traffic lights out of order as I talk to you. Combination of protecting our communities because they're dark, our neighborhoods because they're dark, traffic enforcement because of broken lights, and also, let me emphasize, to relieve HPD officers that are working 12-hour shifts have also their families to care for. This is a great program of collaboration, providing public safety, looking out for our first responders. So I'm pleased to present this to Houstonians. We had you covered by working overtime from the day the storm arrived. They've worked around the clock, all hands on deck. Under the direction of Chief Satterwhite, I'm very pleased to let the public know public safety has been my highest priority. It has been, is, and going forward, nothing is more important than safety. We know we have violent, dangerous offenders, witnessing the tragedy last night of Officer Esqueda. Furthermore, I want the public to know that energy, electricity, is also a very high priority. We wouldn't be having this discussion if we had electricity, but we had a mean storm come through, doing extensive damage. 2.3 million individuals and users of electricity were out of service. I know what a dark neighborhood looks like. I live in one. We live in Houston. So what Houstonians are experiencing, all of us in this room that live in Houston are experiencing. We want to provide public safety. Electricity is right there as a priority with public safety. So all I can say is, let's go to work. I want to introduce the chief to explain the process. I want to thank Governor Patrick, Nim Kidd for their vision, their leadership, and it will once again demonstrate my commitment to collaboration with every level of government. Together, we're so much better than we are individually, and that's been my practice since I got to City Hall on January 1. Chief Satterwhite, would you walk through the great operation that you're overseeing?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to go back to Deputy Escada. I was at the hospital last night with acting sheriff at the time, Mike Lee, and I know Sheriff Gonzalez is back, and everybody from the top to the bottom of their agency is just heartbroken. I will let the Harris County Sheriff's Department be the primary information source, but I will tell you what was reported last night, and just to kind of give you an idea of what we are facing in that regard and the individual that we are looking for. Because we have pretty good information that this individual was upset at a restaurant with the order he had and resorted to assaulting and pistol whipping one of the employees. And that's how the call went out. So our deputy, I'll say him because we're all a family, went along with other deputies looking for that individual, looking for the car. And as far as I can tell, he found the car and put that out. And he was watching the car but couldn't see the suspect. And it appears from the information that we have at hand right now, and they will clarify, that our deputy was just ambushed in his car. Just senseless act of evil. We were working with Harris County last night looking for this individual. Today we continue to look for this individual. For all of you who are following Harris County and their social media and their messaging out, if you know anything, we ask you to reach out to Harris County or HPD or any law enforcement agency that you have access to, and we will get that information because we want to get this individual off the street right now before he hurts somebody else. It's a tragedy. This man gave his life out there trying to help in those dark neighborhoods that the mayor's talking about, trying to help the public, and he lost his life trying to do so. And we honor him and his family, and please keep them in their prayers. HPD is still and will continue to be on full mobilization, meaning half of our department works day shift and half of the department works night shift. Because we know that we have vulnerable neighborhoods and we have all kinds of needs. Yesterday morning, we went to that full mobilization. Tuesday morning, we went to that full mobilization, and by Tuesday afternoon, we were getting additional assignments of water, of food distribution, of shelters, and all those things. And that's why we need to remain at full mobilization, and we're going to remain in that posture all the way through Sunday, probably into Monday morning. And that can shift left or right. It's very unlikely that it will not continue at least through Sunday. I will tell you all, it could go into Monday and Tuesday depending on the need. But right now we have it through Sunday because all of our shelters and all of our facilities that need coverage with law enforcement, we have crews out there working to restore power, and we're helping them out too. We have crews that are out there putting generators at intersections, and it's very dark, and we're helping them out. So you can imagine the demands that we face with this power outage. That's why we need to stay on 12s and stay at full mobilization through Sunday at least until Centerpoint can get most of the power back on and we can get the public back on its feet, which is what we need. I am very thankful to the acting Governor, Dan Patrick, to Chief Nim Kidd, to the state for all that they are doing. Chief Kidd and I had a conversation on Tuesday evening right before our press conference, and he said, hey, we might be able to use a model that we use right now for fire and EMS where Texas Department of Emergency Management and the state will cover the cost of additional personnel to come in and help a city that's been in a disaster zone and to help cover that. So we had that conversation and we said, that's very interesting. We talked about it. He said, I think I can do it. And on Wednesday morning early, I called him and took him up on his offer. Because we also have, like the mayor said, we have a lot of officers out there. They're out there. They're in your neighborhoods. We have a lot of support out there right now because of the full mobilization to keep everybody safe. But we have officers that are out there that they were personally impacted. They have trees in their houses. They have no power. They have families that are in need. So I realized that, this after a certain number of days at 12-hour shifts, fatigue really sets in, and there are needs. And so we want to be able to give those officers that time to do so. So by calling Chief Kidd and working through Acting Governor and Patrick, we pulled the trigger on this thing, and we said, I asked for about 100 officers, and he said done, and they got it done. So yesterday morning, they were calling around. Chief Kidd was calling around to mayors. He was calling around to city managers and saying, hey, HPD could use some help. And I will tell you, I will list the names of the agencies that are coming, but not one balked at that. They were all ready and coming to help, and I can't say enough thanks to all of them for that. And our department is very thankful, because that's going to give our chance to maintain our constant coverage, because the neighborhoods are not uncovered. We're out there. And we're out there in force, but this will allow a few of them to be able to go home, take care of some things that they need, so that they can come back to work. Because if they're worried about their families, the focus is not 100% on the threat. We see what the threat is out there. We saw it Monday night when we had an officer that was shot in the leg. Thank God he is stable and convalescing. But we lost a deputy last night, because it is a challenge, right? And we need to make sure we have officers out there to cover everything. So that is what's happening, and they are coming in as we speak. They're coming down 45. We have the bulk of them coming down, and we will get footage of that we will put out to the public. And then, of course, our first roll call will be tonight at 6 p.m. at our Union Hall at 1602 State Street, where they will come in for a roll call and a welcome, and the mayor will be there, and I will be there to thank them. And then, just so you know, operationally, they will be partnered with HPD. So for those wondering, hey, why is Dallas police car? Because they are bringing marked cars. So for an example, why is Dallas police marked car in our neighborhood? Well, that car will have a Dallas police officer, and it will have a Houston police officer. And likewise, in one of our police cars, on one of our marked shops, it will be a Houston police officer and a Dallas police officer, mainly meaning that we're going to be working in tandem in our neighborhoods, in our neighborhoods that are most vulnerable, with additional support, to have that backup, so make sure that we're doing everything we can to protect the public while we all work to get through this storm crisis. So we are very thankful for that. Just to give you an idea of the agencies that are coming, and it's a long list, so I'm going to read from it, apologies, but I want to make sure I get everybody. The San Antonio Police Department, the Fort Worth Police Department, the Dallas Police Department, the Corpus Christi Police Department, the Allen, Texas Police Department, the Grand Prairie Police Department, the Plano Police Department, the City of Trophy Club Police Department, McKinney, the City of McKinney Police Department, Carrollton Police Department, Mesquite Police Department, Irving Police Department, Garland Police Department, Houston Oaks Police Department, Azle Police Department. And for all of those agencies, and I will also extend our thanks to our partners right here next to us in DPS, because they've been here already, and they have 80 troopers deployed, 40 on days and 40 on nights. All these outside agencies and their leads, their chiefs, their mayors and city managers, again, I really want to extend our thankful for that. And when I'm done, I want to turn it over to Acting Governor Patrick and to Chief Nim Kidd, either one, to explain how that's going to be paid, because we are so thankful, and I want them to be able to explain to you how that will actually happen. So just so you know, they'll be here. The plan is for the next 4 days, starting tonight, to assist and work in partnership with our officers in the field, keeping everybody safe. They are bringing their own marked patrol cars, as I said, so you'll see that. So do not be alarmed, or and if you have any questions, always ask. But we also have a challenge in lack of police cars. So this is a huge help that they're bringing their own cars to help us with this. So it's huge. We can cover more territory that way, and they'll have all that they need. So at this point, we don't anticipate needing them past Sunday night into Monday morning. We believe that we might be in a position, after Centerpoint makes progress, that we can let them go home back to their agencies and rejoin their families and their agencies. It could shift longer, depending on what we're facing, and all the leads understand that. But right now, you can anticipate them being here for the next 4 days, helping us out, kicking off tonight, and for the next 4 nights doing that. So I'm going to stop right there. Again, I extend my thanks. I want to offer up Governor Dan Patrick, Acting Governor Dan Patrick, or Chief Nim Kidd, one or both to come up, explain how that's going, because they are the ones that are actually, the state is actually the one that is covering the cost of all of this. So with that, it's either one. And Governor, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. I'll be very brief. We were here Tuesday with the mayor at his press conference, and let me say something that I wanted to say Tuesday that I didn't. The city of Houston and the state of Texas has never had a stronger relationship than we have today. Mayor Whitmire, as you know, has been a longtime legislator, the dean of the Senate. He knows how to get things done. He has those relationships with people. He and I are very close. We've worked on a lot of projects together over the years, some very big projects, and I'm proud of the job he's done as mayor and during this time. Once it was presented to us, Nim created the program in his mind, and he said, we have to write the check, and we'll write the check. Something else that you said, Chief, and that the mayor said the other day, I think when we were talking, is there's a shortage of police cars. Last session, after traveling through rural Texas, and I found out the need in rural Texas for law enforcement, we created a $350 million program for law enforcement. I think, Mayor, what you and I should work on is we need to find funding for police cars for our cities.
Yes, sir.
And I think we had pretty much unanimous support to help the rural areas. And I know cities have bigger budgets, but they also have tremendous pressure on those budgets, because if you have the men and women and you don't have the money for the vehicles you need, I think it's something that we should help with, and we'll work on that, because his number one job is to protect the public. It's our number one job to protect the public. And I'm proud of all these agencies who joined. So thanks to all of them. And Nim, you want to explain the program?
Thank you, Governor, and Mayor. Thank you, as always, for the partnership. Chief, appreciate the partnership, and I can't leave out the Department of Public Safety, my family, that we've worked with together. Thank you so much for what you do. Programs like this started back in 1997, actually, as sad as that sounds, with the Urban Search and Rescue Program for the state following the Oklahoma City bombing. It created teams like the one I went to with the World Trade Center on 9/11 attacks to be able to take local government employees and be paid by the state or federal government in that case to go to somebody else's disaster. Over the years, we built from the urban search and rescue component to the wildland firefighting component, where we borrow local government firefighters and mobilize them on the state expense to send them into a disaster area to support the local impacted community. We then blended that into the Emergency Medical Task Force. The ambulances that you're seeing from out of the area right now are part of the EMTF program. And then we've moved that on into the public works scene. So you'll see public works trucks from other jurisdictions in this disaster site. Talking to Chief Satterwhite on Tuesday, it was like, you know, I have this idea, we're doing this for these other disciplines. Can we work with this for law enforcement? And I'm so grateful that he said yes. We're going to continue this program. This is the right thing to do. The only people that are going to question this program or not like this program are the criminals. Those are the only ones. Everybody else will appreciate the respect and support that the other communities have, and I hope the Houstonians that get this message can hear this message. You're not forgotten, you're not left out, you're not alone. People from all over the state want to be here to help you get back up on your feet. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, can we do it in Spanish?
Sure, sure.
Buenas tardes. A nombre del jefe de policía Citywide y del alcalde Whitmire, estamos aquí porque hay ciertos momentos difíciles donde se crea una especie de unión y colaboración. Por ejemplo, el alcalde mencionó que anoche un alguacil, un elemento del departamento del sheriff del condado de Harris, fue asesinado violentamente. Y eso nos une a nosotros como una familia de policías, porque cuando muere uno, nos duele a todos. Y estamos aquí dispuestos a ayudar al departamento del sheriff con todos nuestros elementos, con todo nuestro apoyo, con todos los recursos que tenemos, y esperamos que el público entienda lo difícil que es para esa agencia. Y les pedimos que si ustedes saben algo sobre ese asesinato, que por favor se comuniquen con ellos, con el departamento del condado de Harris, o pueden hablarles a nosotros como el departamento de policía de Houston, o inclusive puede usted mantenerse anónimo y hablar a Crime Stoppers, ¿verdad? Y ellos también aceptarán cualquier información que ustedes tengan para poder arrestar al asesino. Otro momento difícil que une a los policías y une a la comunidad de policías es lo que estamos sufriendo ahorita en la ciudad de Houston. No tenemos luz y eso trae muchas consecuencias. Hay mucha gente sufriendo por el calor, no se pueden comunicar, no tienen comida en sus refrigeradores porque se está echando a perder. Entonces, lo que acabamos de escuchar ante ustedes es de que hay una colaboración de parte del gobierno del estado, representado aquí por el que está actuando como gobernador, Dan Patrick, con el alcalde Whitmire y con el jefe de la policía de Houston. Estamos uniéndonos y el estado está proporcionando las finanzas para que vengan policías de otras ciudades del estado de Texas a ayudarnos aquí en Houston durante estos momentos difíciles. Estos policías vienen de diferentes ciudades y el jefe acaba de leer la lista de ciudades. Si ustedes quieren que se las proporcione posteriormente, se las proporciono. Pero lo importante es de que estos policías van a colaborar con nosotros. Si usted por casualidad se asoma y ve una patrulla de Dallas o de San Antonio, es porque está un policía de Houston colaborando con un policía de esa ciudad y estamos sirviéndole a la comunidad, estamos en las zonas donde más se necesitan, donde se cometen los crímenes o donde no hay luz y la gente simplemente quiere saber que estamos ahí ayudándolos y sirviéndolos. Entonces, estamos aquí para darle las gracias al estado de Texas y también les damos las gracias a los elementos del Departamento de Seguridad Pública del estado de Texas que están aquí también presentes. Ellos han estado aquí desde el principio con 80 elementos. Las otras ciudades están proporcionándonos 100 elementos, 100 policías. Así que esto va a ayudarle a los policías de Houston que también tienen los mismos problemas que el resto de la comunidad. Ellos también están sufriendo en sus casas, sin electricidad, sin comida, sin aire acondicionado. Entonces, les damos las gracias a todos ellos y esperamos que salgamos de esto pronto. Probablemente nosotros vamos a estar movilizados, que son 12 horas de trabajo, 12 horas de descanso, de aquí hasta el fin de semana, hasta el domingo. Muchas gracias.
Let me emphasize that I know this will work. We've been working with our partners with the DPS for months, not only personnel, but resources. They help us with our forensic lab. They've helped us with air coverage during a chase. It's actually reduced chases because Houston doesn't have 724 helicopter protection. The DPS will join in and shorten the length of some of our chases. So I know the collaboration is working locally, and I know this model will work statewide. I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor for his expression of support. I do believe that we need an urban initiative from Austin to help major cities with their public safety. I also want to emphasize, again, if we had electricity, we probably wouldn't be having this discussion. Electricity plays a vital role in public safety. The lights out in the neighborhood create serious vulnerabilities. Our traffic lights are critical. I would ask Houstonians, please limit your driving at night till we get electricity across our region. Do not go into intersections. In fact, be looking out for intersections. It's so dark, sometimes you approach an intersection and do not recognize it. So electricity is our highest priority, coupled with public safety because they go hand in hand. I would also like to let Houstonians know this team is doing everything we can to put pressure on Centerpoint, do a better job. I don't know what everyone was doing this morning at 7 a.m. I was talking to the CEO of Centerpoint, letting him know They must do better. They must communicate better. So yes, we're going to hold CenterPoint accountable after we do an action review. But right now, the focus is get the lights on. And we're going to continue to monitor this, speak for Houstonians, and let everyone know that the lights are our highest priority. One additional thing before I take questions, on a silly note, because I was comparing fire stations as a critical service. We have 10 fire stations that do not have energy or a backup generator. Great cities do not operate like that. I inherited that. But when 10 fire stations are not opening, our convention center not opening when we got 1,500 FFA students in our convention hotels waiting to have a convention, and then a block away we have a sports venue well lit. No criticism to the Astros. You know, we need to let people know the politics is out of this discussion. I was not criticizing the Astros. I was criticizing, quite frankly, CenterPoint in the city of Houston, that we have to have priorities. And if we can furnish electricity to a ballpark, we can sure as heck have our convention center and our fire stations should be our highest priority. So let's get that silly notion out of the way. No criticism to the Astros. They run their business. I run the city of Houston. So electricity is our high priority. But first, we've got to make certain that we look out for our first responders that need to be with their family during challenging times, and also go forward with a model that I think will be replicated not only across. Next week, it may be Dallas that we're assisting, or the Valley that might have issues. So let's remember, we're all in this together. This is exactly the program that I campaigned on, collaboration with the state. As the governor said, we do have great relationships with Austin. That's a new phenomenon. It wasn't there when I got there in January. With that, we'll answer any questions, and I'll be glad to yield to these outstanding professionals behind me.
John Lomax, Houston Chronicle. I had one question for you, Mayor Whitmire, and a few for Chief Citywide, if that's okay. For you, Mayor Whitmire, I just wanted to ask, on the note of electricity, can you give us an update on power and water plants, and are any of the buildings there in danger of failing? Should Houstonians be worried about their water at all?
When I left to come over here, our water supply is secure, and our water supply is very protected and secure. Full supply. Some reduction in pressure, but nothing that's interfering with our operations and certainly homeowners. Wastewater, we have challenges. We have challenges because anytime you have the huge amount of rains we had in a short period of time, some of the wastewater plants go offline. There again, need those backup generators. Some generators don't work. You know, don't get me started on generators, but we've got to have a test day citywide, maybe the first day of hurricane season. Everybody, for certain our essential services, need to be firing up, testing, topping off fuels of our generators. That is a critical part of public safety and life and welfare issues. So yes, water, fine, wastewater, challenged. About 150,000 gallons were released in some of our bayous, which, violates a consent decree. We're spending billions of dollars complying with federal government requirements, but prior administrations did not apply some resources to the wastewater treatment, which got us in the agreement in the first place. So there's a lot of work needs to be done. We have a great city and great people, but we have challenges like most major cities do, but we're a can-do administration. We've got partners that join me today, and we will fix our infrastructure and always make public safety our highest priority. Anyone else?
So, Brother Chief Satterwhite, for you, your understanding from CenterPoint is that lights will be sufficient enough on Sunday where you would not need the outside.
I think I'll let the chief describe his model. CenterPoint, at our direction and their own initiative, is doing everything possible. Everything. We're pressuring them. Do better. And they understand that we're all in this together. And so many issues, starting with public safety and quality of life issues, starts with we need electricity. That's what I'm focusing on. That's what this team's focusing on. And I'm certain that we will monitor CenterPoint's success and how it relates to the public safety coverage that we're discussing today. So Chief Satterwhite, you want to speak to that concern?
Okay, so there's actually a lot of hope in my voice when I say that, because, like I said, we could shift longer, and I would certainly reach out to those agencies if I feel the critical need to do so. But I am hopeful, and I've heard reports, and they are working on it, that most, or at least except for, there'll still be several thousand people, from what I understand from reports, even after Sunday, that will be without power. But I am hopeful that we have enough power, enough light in the city, red lights obviously working again, street lights and all those things, to light things up at night like we are normally used to, so that we can better see everything and have our officers out there and hopefully not need that additional support that we have from outside. And by then, hopefully, those officers that we need to kind of let go home and get taken care of in terms of family will then become available again, too. So it's a twofold. I am not going to tell you for sure that we are going to demobilize on Monday morning. I don't know yet. I'm telling you that I'm hopeful that we can demobilize by Monday, because if we can, that means the city's back on its feet, and that's what we want. We all want more than anything.
Chief, what are the challenges that you guys are facing right now?
So it's like the mayor has said, it's really power. Without power, we have multiple challenges. Number one, traffic on the roadways is incredibly dangerous, because there are so many intersections that without power, you don't know they're there until you're in the middle of them. And you imagine you've got cars coming from two different directions, and it can be catastrophic, right? So then on top of that, because when it gets dark like this, we have predators that will go out there and try to take advantage of that. We're already posting pictures. We're going to be posting pictures of suspects that we capture for burglary, of businesses, of all those things. Sadly, there are people that will take advantage. They care nothing for anybody else, and we will hold them accountable. But we need the officers out there rolling around, being present, responding to calls, responding to alarms, and all those things that are happening to ensure that we're providing the best service possible. And another thing is just this: there are a lot of people out there that they're already living on the margins. They didn't have a lot before the storm hit. Now the storm has hit, and they're without power, and I don't even know if they have enough to eat. I mean, they're worried, and we represent in law enforcement, somebody that's there to help. And when they see an officer in their neighborhood, and we can't be everywhere all the time, we still don't have enough, but to the degree we are, we're out there in force as much as possible. It's going to give them a little bit of comfort and a little bit of assurance that we're there for them. I ask all the public, if you, again, power outages is not a reason to call 911. We ask that you call CenterPoint at 713-207-2222. But if you're afraid, if something's happening, if something suspicious is happening, call. We have the numbers out there to respond, and we will respond.
And to be clear, the incoming help, they're covering all shifts?
Yeah, so basically the way I'm going to, this is something that we did during Hurricane Ike, and I was there, right? So I've been on 34 years. So in Hurricane Ike, I ran a team, and a proactive team out in the southwest area of Houston. So after Ike hit, within a couple of days, similar to what we're doing right now with a few days, we had outside agencies come in and support, and under a different model. In Dallas, I had a team of Dallas officers that partnered with my team in the field. And so I'm using the same model that we used then, of going out with proactive officers that know their areas very well. They know their crime hotspots. They know the streets. They know and all the challenges, because this is an officer safety issue. We're bringing officers in that do not know these neighborhoods. So we partner with us that we do, and it's like, the partnership will be an HPD officer and an outside agency partner together, so that it makes it safer and more effective. But we welcome the help, and that's how that model will work. And yes, we will, because we have 100 coming in, we will disperse them throughout all of our areas in Houston. We can't be in every division, so we're looking at the ones that were most impacted, the neighborhoods that were most harmed by the storm and are without power and could use that help.
Which ones are those now? Do you have a few?
So it's all over the city. I mean, I'm going to tell you, We have areas north, south, east, west. We have it everywhere, central. You know, and so you can imagine, you know, we try to hit anything that we consider high crime areas that are also impacted by this. And so, you know, and we'll address accordingly. So if you see a place where there's a lot of power outage, we're going to be there.
And has there been a spike in crime since?
So we haven't necessarily witnessed a huge spike in crime, and I thank the public for that in terms of their calling, and we're really out there and we're really visible. We did see a spike in crashes, right? And we attribute that directly to it being dark and people can't see, and a huge spike in crashes. So that did happen. But we also know that over time, you know, people will want to get back out. And so when they're getting back out, they need to see us for their, you know, to know they're safe. And we also, frankly, just want to send a message to the criminal element that would try to take advantage that we're out there and we will hold you accountable, and we will put your picture up. We will do everything, because there's never a time to take advantage of our citizenry, and we will absolutely hold you accountable here because we have more people on the street to help with that.
Mayor, can you talk about the debris collection? The debris collection?
Reconnection.
No, the debris collection.
Debris collection. Right after I talked to the CenterPoint CEO this morning, I talked to our director of sanitation, solid waste. They're bringing on additional resources, and they're working long hours, 18 hours. They could give me an estimate of how many days it's going to take to pick up many, but it's even actually being complicated because many fallen trees that they need to pick up are on live wires. So all I can say is energy, this is the way I line it up. Public safety, energy, which is so impacted, the public safety is impacted by the energy, and then debris is right below it. Many families have trees on live wires in their backyard. That's a high priority. We're working with Public Works, by the way. Public Works has folks who fix the streets. Let me also give a shout out, talk about collaboration. TxDOT. TxDOT is not only taking care of their thoroughfares on the feeders to our highways, they're coming into the city of Houston, helping us. On Shepherd, 610, going north, they're helping us at 34th Street, 43rd Street, Pinemont. So we're all in this together, and this is a demonstration today of what being united with one focus makes a difference. So yes, debris is a high priority, and we're bringing in additional outside sources. Let me, before I forget about it, emphasize to y'all to let the public know the suspect in the shooting last night of Officer Espada is highly dangerous, and his picture will be shown. So if anyone has any leads or information, you know, that's how we solved Jocelyn's murder. The public came forward with leads. This person is most violent and has to be considered dangerous, but we do ask the public and the press to help us find this individual. And there again, we'll be watching the bail bond system. We'll be watching judges, how you handle this violent offender. It's unheard of in my career as chairman of criminal justice that someone charged with capital murder is out on a bond. That leads to the dangers in our communities, dangers to our first responders, our law enforcement, but also the public. There should be no bond for a capital murder. They're our most dangerous profile defendants. They know when they get a bond, get out on the street, when they're, and furthermore, they violate their bond. They become fugitives and the most dangerous individuals in our community. So, judges, do your job, protect the public. I'll also go ahead, as thinking about my legislative days, we need an amendment to the Constitution that says certain individuals, after their due process, should not be given bond. Bonds are in our currently Constitution a requirement, but capital murders, there's an exception there. You can hold that person. I would suggest even someone charged with murder shouldn't be released out on bond. We're all in this together, and I'll be monitoring the courts, the bond system, to see that this violent offender is held accountable. We owe it to our community, and we certainly owe it to this victim and his family. With that said,
Can I get one more for Chief Satterwhite?
sure. Chief
I
Satterwhite.
just wanted to ask, I think a lot of Houstonians, we were caught off guard by Beryl. Do you think that with the benefit of hindsight now, it would have been better to have gone to a full mobilization on Monday as opposed to Tuesday?
So I addressed this a couple of days ago, but basically we were already leaning in. We weren't at full mobilization, and we weren't even sure we would need full mobilization because the weather reports were that it was going to be far west of us, south and west of us, and not here. And you remember at the beginning it was going into Mexico, and it started to make its way up. So as you know, in planning, we looked at that, and we said, you know what, it may not hit us, but we want to be sure that we're leaned in. So even on Sunday morning, I personally sent out an email with a list of instructions for all officers. We have our own way of asking for vacation and things like that, asking for the day off. We canceled that unless they were already in the book, and we wanted to honor that. But we didn't let anybody else ask to take off. Brought everybody in, directed everybody to come in on Monday morning in uniform and ready to respond, to bring all provisions because we could be looking at a long day. Again, we don't know what we're going to see. We don't know what we're going to get. And so we were already posturing for that. We weren't at full mobilization, I won't tell you that. But we were already posturing for the possibility that we could end up with extended shifts. So they end up being really long shifts on Monday to make sure that we have enough personnel all the time. So after the storm blew through Monday, it was really almost till 2 or 3 in the afternoon before things were really kind of getting back to where we weren't experiencing high winds and everything else. We were already meeting. We worked late. We had the discussions. And it was then by that I said, you know what, it's going to be hard because we did it Monday night to get all that coordinated. But I said, no, I want them in here on Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. for the full, for the 12s. That is an easier way when you do that to have additional people days and nights. Because again, I want to remind you, it's the power at night, but in the daytime, it is all of the additional things that the police department is going to be called upon post-disaster. We are covering dozens, if not 50 plus, different locations around the city for shelters, water distribution, anything, additional traffic control. All those things that storm did, we got in here early on Tuesday morning before anything opened up to make sure we had the people. So we were leaned in, but full mobilization is a very fatiguing thing. So as the leader of the agency, I got to think soberly about all of that and how we do it. We didn't even think it was going to hit us, but you know what? We leaned in anyway. We pre-positioned high water assets, boats, everything on Sunday. Again, even to the point that the mayor and I went out overnight Sunday night and were out in the field to see what was going on, constantly assessing. And it's still at 2 a.m. had not hit, and we were like, well, where's the storm that was supposed to be here much earlier? Where's all these other things? And this is not a criticism. We do need better weather models, okay? I'm not going to criticize anybody. I'm just going to say I am looking forward to better technologies in the future that can be better at predicting where these things are coming so that we can plan and respond in the best way possible. We did everything based on the information that we were being given at the time, and then we leaned forward from there with deploying resources and calling everybody in, even to the point I said, bring your own medications, because a lot of employees, they may have medications that they're taking. I don't know when you're going to get off tomorrow if this thing hits us. So that's how it works on that first day. And yes, if I knew it was going to be a direct impact where I'm confident it's going to just roll up on us, probably have more people. But the reality is we're going off the information we have, and we were prepared. We did 56 rescues on Monday because we were prepared. We got people out of cars. We had plenty of people. After the storm passed over, we went out into rescue mode, and we sadly, we did lose somebody, one of our own in Russell Richardson, and that's so tragic because I was there for that recovery. And I had a lot of officers there, and we'll be looking to take care of them. But we were prepared. We were there. And moving to full mobilization is in preparation for all the other demands that that we have and now that we are seeing. And then again, keeping it through Sunday is a long series of 12-hour shifts. But you know what? I'd rather make sure that we have it all the way through the weekend, knowing that the public needs our help before I demobilize, and it could still go further. But that's kind of where we're at.
And on the note of that trade-off,
So you're talking about, so we have our investigative side of the house, and we're using those for critical infrastructure. We're using those for some of these distribution sites. We're using those for again, the gun shops, the pawn shops, the pharmacies, all the things that become targets. So they are doing a different job as opposed to doing investigations right now. When somebody is harmed, they're still doing that too. If there's a gap in time and a downtime, they're working on their investigations too. But I don't want to paint the picture that they're steadily in their office today doing follow-up investigations. Right now, we are still, in our mind, response recovery. We haven't done any more water rescues or anything like that, although I am sorry to say that we did just very recently today discover another possibly person that we've lost in the water, and we don't know. We're working on that up. But so there's still some recovery, and everything, and but we're there for the public, there for response, and right now also recovery and just managing, giving everybody what the presence and the support that we can do as the Houston Police Department.
Thank you. We got to go to work. Thank y'all.
Good job, Chief. Great job. Thank you very much.
This is our short day on right now?